Hey ladies, beautiful women absolutely need a relationship with God. The amount of warfare you face as a beautiful woman, as an attractive woman, is unparalleled. It is astronomical. And you need the ultimate protection. Not just any protection, not just the lukewarm protection. You need God. Okay? And this is for the people who this applies to. If you are an atheist or you believe in stars and galaxies and shit, you can go ahead and just click off. But this is for people who understand that there's a higher power, who understand that they are connected to a divine source, and whatever you may call that, But I do believe that women need to have a relationship with the divine, with the Most High, because beautiful women have to go through a lot more than the average person. Attractive people are targets everywhere they go. And you need to have a spiritual body that is covered in the blood of Christ. Okay. And I'm going to really get into it today because I feel very strongly about this. I feel that, as I grew older, my relationship with God has gotten stronger. And it was because I couldn't turn it to anyone else. So to give you guys context, when I was younger, I was a church girl. I was a kingdom kid. That's what they called it at my church. And, I grew up in that space, but when you're young like that, you don't really know what you're being taught. Like, you can't really apply it to the real world because you're not in the real world yet. Obviously, you can learn the stories and learn all the Bible verses and all the books, and you get an understanding, but it's different when you are thrown into the real world and you're dealing with real world demons, real world warfare, real world attacks. And when you start to get into that arena, that's when you start to have to cleave onto something a lot more. And so it was good that I had that foundation. And I would say, like, when I got into high school and going into college is when my relationship with God deepened, because the warfare got stronger and louder. And I remember when I wasn't so tapped in spiritually and I wasn't connected to God on a deeper level, it was like the things that would happen to me would kind of just go over my head. I wouldn't learn from certain things fast enough, My discernment was off. It was almost like I had rose-colored glasses on. It was almost like I couldn't tell, what was happening to me half the time. And I would be so hurt and so distraught and so broken down when things would happen to me. But I could never see the signs clearly when it would happen again. And that was because my spiritual body was weak. I didn't have that discernment and that connection to the Most High. And it wasn't until I was brought to rock bottom, basically, as a young adult, that I had a come to Jesus moment where I was like, I'm stripped of everything. I have no one else but the Most High to turn to. I'm going to really give my life and give my all to the Most High and let Him steer the ship, because clearly me doing it is hurting myself even more. Me doing it has blocked my blessings. Me trying to steer the ship and steer the boat has, put this glaze over my eyes where I can't see things clearly. I can't see through people how I should, or I'm not seeing through them fast enough, or whatever. And it wasn't until I surrendered to the warfare and the hardships that I was going through and surrendered to the Most High that I started to get more discernment. And I was always very wise and aware for my age, but because I was abused as a kid, I didn't trust my own judgment. And I know people who grew up in narcissistic homes will feel me when I say this, because we are literally taught to not trust our own judgment about things. We're gaslit constantly. We're told lies constantly. We're told that our feelings don't matter. When we experience things, we're told that never happened. It is very psychologically damaging to grow up in a home like that, because you become bait for people to mistreat you and abuse you in your adult life. And that's what was happening to me. But when I decided to really tap in with the Most High, I was not playing games. I was on my spiritual journey. I was journaling. I was reading my Bible. I was praying. I was doing all the things. That's when my people like to call it your third eye opens. In this case, that's when my discernment and my wisdom really kicked in. Because I had it a little bit before, but I was doubting myself and I was unsure. But it got to a point where I couldn't unsee certain things anymore, and I was sharper with my discernment, and I was sharper with my judgment of things, judgment of people, judgment of places and situations. And suddenly it was like the veil was lifted and I could see the world for its ugly self. You know what I mean? I was no longer looking at things with these rose-colored glasses, and I was able to protect myself as a beautiful woman. And that's why I say, ladies, it is so, so imperative that beautiful women lock in with the Most High, because no one else is looking out for you like the Most High is. No one else is going to protect you like the Most High. People dibble and dabble in other things, which, that's their business. I can only speak from my own, standpoint and my testimony. I've tried the New Age stuff. It has left me high and dry. It has done nothing for me. If anything, it probably set me back. So this is someone who's, explored all of the things that, obviously not all the things, but like I've explored the New Age stuff. I've explored the things that I thought would protect me, right? All to find out that those things don't protect me, but it made me even more vulnerable to attacks. It made me even more vulnerable to being hurt. And so beautiful women need God. We do. Because there are men that come into our lives that don't have the best interest for us, that are harmful. There are friends that come around who are looking to take advantage, looking to get something out of you, looking to destiny swap. There are people in the workplace that want to sabotage you, that want to tarnish your name, that want to get you fired. There are family members that want to isolate you, that want to make you feel unwelcome, that want to keep you in a place of feeling alone so that you are stagnant and don't have any support. There are people like this roaming the earth in our friend groups, in our family, at our workplaces, and the men we date. And my God, I can't even imagine what my life would look like if I didn't have God in it. While I was going through my darkest times, I literally need God. Like, I need him. I need him. And unless you've been in some of the dark places I've been, you may not feel like you need him. And you know what I'm saying? That's your business. But, and I don't wish anything on anyone, but I pray that you will find him one day if you haven't, and I pray that, it doesn't take you having to go through something catastrophic for you to have that moment to come to the Most High and to come to Christ. Because when I say it has changed my life, having a relationship with God, it absolutely has. The more I get thrown into nonsense is like the deeper I get with God. Like every time I would go through warfare, I would just get in that prayer closet and I would get closer and closer to God. And it would really protect me. It would be like a buffer between me and the bullshit. And I could not be more grateful for that as a beautiful woman, because I already have so much on my plate. I'm already going through so many things. I'm getting attacked left, right, and center. Sometimes a lot of gorgeous girls don't have peace. They go to school, they get bullied. They go home, they get bullied. Where's the peace? You know what I mean? The only peace you will find is with the Most High. Because he will deliver you out of abusive situations, of harmful situations, and put you in places where you deserve to be and where you will be valued and cherished and have peace. And so, ladies, that's really all I have to say today. I'd love to have a further discussion about this. I'll also be leaving my email in the description box so you can share all your stories with me there as well. Have a lovely day, ladies.